And here is the Writer's Almanac for Sunday, January the 9th, 2022. It's the birthday of the playwright Brian Friel, born in County Tyrone, Ireland, 1929. Went to seminary, decided not to become a priest, dropped out, became a school teacher. And the year he turned 30, one of his stories appeared in the New Yorker magazine, and he was so encouraged he quit teaching to write full-time. The Irish theater director Tyrone Guthrie was a fan of Brian Friel's stories in the New Yorker, and when the Guthrie Theater had its opening in Minneapolis in 1963, Guthrie invited Brian Friel to come along to America and to watch the rehearsal and production process of Hamlet. And within a year, Friel had written his first stage play for production, Philadelphia, Here I Come, about a young man named Gareth O'Donnell leaving his village in County Donegal and heading for America. The play had its premiere in Dublin, 1964, then London, then Broadway, was very popular. He wrote some more plays in the 70s, then had a long spell of writer's block in the mid-80s. Went to see the London opening of a Chekhov adaptation, and afterward went for a walk along the Thames with a friend. They saw some homeless people huddled there in the cold. Friel mentioned that two of his spinster aunts had left Ireland to go to London, ended up alone and homeless, and he decided to write about his aunts, and that was his play Dancing at Lunason. It was the most commercially successful play of his life, and in 1998 was made into a movie starring Meryl Streep. It's the birthday of Simone de Beauvoir, born in Paris in 1908. She went off to the Sorbonne, and there she met her lifelong partner, Jean-Paul Sartre. They fell in love, but instead of getting married, they decided to form a pact. They would each have affairs with other people, but they would tell each other everything, and they would meet regularly in a cafe and show each other whatever they were working on. And Jean-Paul Sartre went off to write his book Being and Nothingness in 1943, and Simone de Beauvoir, her book The Second Sex in 1949, in which she wrote, "One is not born a woman, one becomes one." It was one of the first arguments that the difference between the sexes was the result of culture, not nature, and it helped to found the modern feminist movement. Here's a poem for today by Tom Hennon, Sheep in the Winter Night. Inside the barn, the sheep were standing, pushed close to one another. Some were dozing, some had eyes wide open, listening in the dark. Some had no doubt heard of wolves. They looked weary with all the burdens they had to carry, like being thought of as stupid and cowardly, disliked by cowboys for the way they eat grass about an inch into the dirt. The silly look they have just after shearing, of being one of the symbols of the Christian religion. In the darkness of the barn, their woolly backs were full of light gathered on summer pastures. Above them, their white breath was suspended, while far off in the pine woods, night was deep in silence. The owl and rabbit were wondering, along with the trees, if the air would soon fill with snowflakes. But the power that moves through the world and makes our hair stand on end was keeping the answer to itself. A poem by Tom Hennon, Sheep in the Winter Night, from his collection Darkness Sticks to Everything, published by Copper Canyon Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.